What you doing tonight? What you doing tonight? We got some dog treats for Mazzy to chew.
Welcome to Mixing Night. I'm your host, Ken Lewis.
What you doing tonight? It's Mixing Night.
Holding down
Mixing Night
security.
with Ken Lewis tonight. What you doing?
I forgot my Santa hat. Santa, I know him. Happy holidays, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. This is the last show of the year, and we are going to bring the heat. I hope you and yours have a great season. Lori wrote a new Christmas poem for you all, which I will play later, but unfortunately, Lori is currently sick with COVID. Yeah. She made it almost 3 years, but finally caught up to her. COVID is out there, people. Mask up and be careful around your parents, for sure. So far, I'm negative. And I'm avoiding her and hoping to stay that way. You can see the show rundown on your screen tonight. That's the agenda for everything I'm doing tonight. It's going to be action-packed. We're bringing the noise. I'm spending the second half of the show doing a full mix of obSCENE Stealer's new single, 10 out of 10. Drops in January. You guys get to hear it world premiere tonight. Ear training tonight is multiple instrument identification. Fun and challenging. I play you examples from with multiple instruments and vocals, and then you gotta tell me everything that you hear, write it all down, and then I'll reveal it at the end. It's gonna be a fun ear training. Tons of mixing and DAW examples tonight for you guys, and I gotta give a big shout out to Neumann. They are lending me a pair of KH310 monitors that are right there. I don't know if you can see them. And also a pair of KH750 DSP subs along with their MA1 speaker correction software. And I've been mixing with them for a couple weeks now, and whew, they are really, truly beautiful. The translation is great. The detail is great. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them because I'm auditioning a bunch of different speakers. But I will, because I'm building a new control room right now. So I want to make sure I put great speakers in the new control room. But I will say this, if Neumann could definitely be my choice. These things sound fucking great. So well done, Neumann. And thanks for lending them to me so I can hear them. And I'll be mixing on them all night tonight. Mixing Night co-founder Dom Rivinius recently traveled to LA for vacation and to get a sense of what the LA music scene is like. Dom and I worked on the Taylor Swift Midnights album together. We also worked on Alicia Keys and Eminem before that. Dom is going to bring you his perspective on growth and struggles in the music industry from the perspective of a European trying to break in and find success in America. Well done, Dom. He's going to give you his full perspective. It's really, really great. And it's going to be great to see Dominic's face on screen for the end of your broadcast. So, yeah. So this has been one of the most transitional years of my entire career. It's been nuts. Like, everything changed this year. Everything. 30 years making major label records. Woo, I'm still... I'm fortunate. I'm really, really fortunate. But everything was like feeling like it took a right turn this year. I'm heavy into surround mixing now. If you need an ATMOS mix, get at me. I'm also still mixing stereo, of course, and I'm producing and all those other things I do. I'm also an artist for the first time ever, which is weird and awesome. Me and Michael Moss, the movie trailer boss, are the group obSCENE Stealers, and you'll be hearing a lot of obSCENE Stealers stuff tonight. Very cinematic. I describe obSCENE Stealers music as epic AF. So we go down a lot of different lanes, but it's always going to be epic AF. Here's a partial list. Okay, sorry, soft flex coming. Here's a partial list of the artists and songs I worked on in 2022. Ooh, it was such a good year. I had 10 BTS mixes come out in 2022. My career total BTS mixes is now 44. I mixed XG Mascara this year. Alicia Keys' album, I worked on 5 songs. Dominic worked on those with me. Alicia Keys' Christmas album, I mixed the Christmas single. Oh, that was a good one. Live and Avira, we redid Lightning Crashes this year with Live and an Armada DJ. It was awesome. I got to produce the vocals and mix. Taylor Swift Midnights, 3 songs, of course. J-Hope, RM, Layla, Blue, Skrizzly, Adams, Pooh Bear, Late Night Jiggy, Dry Jack, Josh Levy, Donna Summer, Bruce Sudano, Big Time Rush, Netta, and so many more incredible artists this year. AJ Smith just dropped his Christmas project. I mixed that. It's really been a fantastic career year. Big shout out to Jonathan Garcia, who has been a Jedi around here. He made just a huge impact around here. He's also hoovering up big credits like a boss. So well done, Jonathan. He assisted on the Taylor Swift Midnight's album, and he engineered on Alicia Keys. So he's been getting some big ones, and we got some other stuff coming up. He's also mastering a lot of ATMOS for me. So I'm doing the ATMOS mixes, and he's doing the mastering on it, and excellent work. So yeah, he's come so far in a year's time with us around here. So also, Mixing Night has a new plugin coming. We have Mixing Night Audio. If you didn't know, we have a tiny little plugin company. We're trying our best. We already have Greenhouse. If you don't know Greenhouse, go check out Greenhouse from Mixing Night Audio. But I can't tell you the name of the next one, but you are gonna love it. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna cry. You're going to share it with your friends. It's really, man, we're smashing it with that one. Also, the guys, same people that did the GUI on Greenhouse are doing the GUI on the new one, and it's so amazing. We just finished the GUI graphics. Oh, it's awesome. So, Alpha team, get ready. Hopefully, we'll be in Alpha real soon. Okay, sprint mixing. Why, Ken? Why? It's not about mixing fast. Sprint mixing is really about the best rough mix that you can possibly do in 10 minutes, from faders down to as finished as you can get it. Now you start with mixed stems that have been volume randomized. So for the most part, you don't really need to EQ and shit. It's mostly volumes, but still you have, I'm doing Jedi level, which is about 30 stems, and you have 10 minutes. That gives you 20 seconds per stem to make every decision that you're going to make about that thing, where it goes in relation to everything else, and tailor the mix bus if you have time left over. So that's the mission. The song that I am sprint mixing tonight is going to be the next single from obSCENE Stealers. It is called 10 out of 10. It is a fucking banger. I think we're releasing it on January 4th, but I'm going to debut it tonight for you. I'm going to sprint mix it, and then I'll play you the full mix at the end. And later on in the broadcast, I'm doing a full mix faders down to finished on that song, 10 out of 10. So when you hear the sprint, that's what I'm going to show you how I got there later on in the show. It's a fucking great track. So without further ado, I am going to mask up Unsanta. Mazzy Bear, lay down. Come on. We need you in the Mazzy cam, baby. That's right. You're the star of the show. They ain't here to see me. Lay down. Lay down. Come on. Good girl. There you go. She is such a sweetie. Oh, she's kept us so active and healthy during the pandemic. Thank you, Mazzy. All right. I am going to put 10 minutes on the clock. I'm going to mask up with my Greenhouse mask. Greenhouse! And this is Mixing Night. Ken Lewis. Thanks for joining us for our end of year show. It's going to be such a fun night. I'm going to have a little iced coffee first. Oh, if you know, you know. Damn. Okay. Sorry, I'm being slow. All right. Here we go. Faders down to finished. I love these new SSL controllers. They're really fun. Boom.
whatever it takes for a bag. We coming back in this summer, ain't no back and forth. Get up back in these action for your gang. For a bag, we coming back in this summer, ain't no back and forth. And the fact get up back in these action for your gang. We could do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I better be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we could do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I'll always. By the time you arrive, be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards. No one can stop me, I'm taking the arms and I'm coming for whoever say they in charge. 10 out of 10, run it back, we could do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I better be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, run it back, we could do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I'll always be 10 out of 10. Here we go again. Coming up next, and I'm with the cash. I do whatever it takes for a bag. Coming back in this summer, ain't no back and forth, and the fact that I'm back in these action for y'all, I'm a problem. Whoever want it, get it on sight, it's like fighting a toddler. Now you a target, I'm being honest. Stay on your side and they getting demolished. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we can do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I better be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we can do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I'll always be 10 out of 10. Here we go again. We can do it again. Run it back, we can do it again. Where and when? We can do it again. Run it back, we can do it again. Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I'll always be 10 out of 10. Here we go again. And now I'm a god, so send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a 10 out of 10. Here we go again. The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So the difference between you and I, I'm a god. The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send the difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards. No one can stop me, I'm taking up arms and I'm coming for whoever say they in charge. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we can do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I better be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we can do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I'll always be 10 out of 10. Here we go again. Coming up fast, in love with the cash. I do whatever it takes for a bag. We coming back and it's over, ain't no back and forth. And the fact that I'm packing means action for y'all, I'm a problem. Whoever won it, get it on sight, it's like fighting a toddler. Now you a target, I'm being honest. Stay on your side and they getting demolished. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we can do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I better be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we can do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I'll always be 10 out of 10. Here we go again. There ain't no back and forth, and the fact that I'm packing means action for y'all, I'm a problem. Whoever won it, get it on sight, it's like fighting a toddler. Now you a target, I'm being honest. Stay on your side and they getting demolished. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we can do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I better be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we can do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I'll always be 10 out of 10. Here we go again. Yeah, here we go again.
Here we go again.
Here we go again. Yeah, here we go again. Here we go again. 10 out of 10.
Woo!
Run it back, we can do it again. Run it back, we can do it again. Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I'll always be 10 out of 10. Here we go again.
Fuck. Does anybody else think that that track is a fucking banger? Holy shit. That's Obscene Steelers, 10 out of 10. That's coming out January 4th on all streaming platforms. And hopefully we'll find some sync opportunities with that stuff as well. Anyway, man, that's such a fun one. Welcome to Mixing Night. How are you all? Let's see, what's next on the agenda? Ooh, I got to do studio stories tonight. So we're bringing back studio stories, and I got a gem from the olden days for you guys. If anybody here is a boom bap hip hop head, man, I made a record with Pete Rock called Soul Survivor. And I mixed one song and I recorded almost the entire album. And so Kwon was one of the people I recorded. And We were working at Battery Studios. And back then, we were on analog tape machines that needed to be aligned with test tones at the beginning of every session so that your machine always played back correctly. Well, lay down, Mass. Lay down. The tech at Battery accidentally recorded over the first minute 20 of the Pete Rock Kwon song, which completely eliminated Kwon's verse. Gone forever. We did not have a rough mix. We didn't have a copy of it. He never wrote his lyrics down, or they were lost to the ages. He barely remembered what he said, and he had to come in and rewrite it. Kwon had to come back into the studio and rewrite it. Needless to say, we did not go back to Battery Studios after that. We moved down to Green Street Studios, and Green Street Studios was like a big hip-hop studio back in the 90s. I really liked that place. And so we booked Green Street, and we're there to recut Kwon's verse. And Kwon walks in the door. Kwon is one of the rappers from Wu-Tang Clan, for anybody who doesn't know out there. And Kwon walks into Green Street, takes one look at me. I was long-haired back then, too. I looked a lot like this. And he takes one look at me. He's like, "Yo, you the engineer?" I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "Yo, do you erase my shit? That's straight violence, son. That's violence." And I'm like, I just looked at him deadpan. I was like, first off, you got to understand, Kwon comes up to about here on me. And I wouldn't want to fight him, but I was in my 20s back then, and I was strong. So I wasn't afraid of him. And so he gets up in my face, and I'm like, "Do you think that if I was the one that erased your vocal, I would be standing in front of you right now? I'm here to help you guys fix this shit, not undo it." He's like, all right. I just had to check and make sure, man. I was like, we're good. So, welcome to hip hop 90s style. I was just thinking about Pete Rock the other day for some reason. I can't remember why. But what a legend, man. Anybody who's a New York boom bap hip hop head, Pete was, still is. What is next? I'm going to go to Lori's poem. I'm going to let them cue it up in the control room. So, Lori, I mentioned earlier, she's sick with COVID. She's having a miserable time right now, but we're all fully vaccinated with the bivalent vaccines, and that's keeping her out of the hospital, hopefully. And I'm fine. But last night, before she got too sniffly, she recorded her new poem, and we're going to play that for you now. Enjoy.
Mixing night before Christmas, we're all in the stew, making final arrangements before joining you. The technical side is handled with finesse and hopes that this live stream will be free from stress. The chat roll is buzzing with mirth and some cheer. We're happy to see you one last time this year. You may have noticed HQ is still blanket fort. Building a studio takes lots of time, in short. And then just like that, Ken starts sprint mixing, and don't you know it, using Greenhouse for fixing. Mazzy sticks around to chomp on some treats, or she barks and she begs incessantly. Dog samples are shown, a full mix completed, and questions are answered by the ninja as needed. Enormous gratitude to our man of mystery. Marcus, you're the best to show us what's free. Special recognition to Dom, Nolan, and John, working behind the scenes as those we can depend on. Many thanks to you, our kick-ass community, for being the inspiration for this live stream. We look forward to 2023, for the future is bright. Happy holidays to all, and to all a great mixing night.
Aw, baby, I know Lori's watching. I don't think she's on the chat roll, though. Feel better, baby. I hope you're okay. Even she was a trooper yesterday and today, even though she's got COVID and feeling like crap. She did all the banners and all the artwork that you guys are seeing up on screen tonight. That was all created by her. So big thank you to you. You're amazing. Get well soon. I'm going to do some Q&A. If anybody on the chat roll has a question for me, fire away. I got Dom Rivinius on the chat roll. He's harvesting questions and sending them to me on a screen right up there. I can see exactly what you guys are asking in real time and answer you back. So especially like during the full mix later on, if you got questions about what I'm doing, why I'm doing something, just ask and we'll put it, Dominic will send it up to me and I'll answer on the spot. So this is pre-submitted questions. Thank you. This is from Prong. Prong asks, hey Ken, one, how do you negotiate a deal? Okay, that's a broad question, but I'll give you some real bullet point tips. One, take your shoes off. Put the shoes on of the people you're doing the deal with. Ask yourself purely from their perspective, why do they want to do this deal? What do they want out of it? What do they hope to accomplish? What do they want from you? And then figure out how much of that you can let go for how much of what you want from them you can get. And if you're not happy with that, then you walk away. That's the other tip. You must know what your bottom line is before you get into a room or on the phone negotiating with somebody, or they will push you below your bottom line and you'll agree to it. And then you'll take the gig and you will hate the gig the whole time. Whatever it is, you'll wish you didn't do it. Don't do a deal that you don't look at and go, this is right. Okay, I'm good. Let's go. And, that's the other thing. There was a discussion I saw on Facebook this week about, should you hold on to 100% of your rights as an artist or should you let some go? And my response was, rights are tools. I have given up a lot of my rights in order to further my career in really valuable ways that have made all of my rights across the board much more valuable. And that's something that artists miss. You're holding on to 100% of nothing. You probably cannot do this on your own. And here, I will prove a point for you as much as I don't want to. So obscene stealers. We have put out 3 singles so far, Danger, Side Effects, and Losing Game. We put playlisting money behind Danger and Side Effects. We did not, and we put press releases out for these 2. And we did not put out press release or, playlisting money for Losing Game. It was a tough month. And it hasn't gotten 1,000 spins yet. That's what you face as an independent artist when 30 or 50 or 60,000 people a day are uploading their songs to Spotify. There is just too much noise. It's going to take investment in fan building and in playlisting and all that kind of stuff. But, if you're an artist, that's your job. Let's see. Joe Hogan asks, hey, Ken, when is the best time to use saturation in a track and for what effect? Do you use saturation a lot in your work? P.S. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Thank you for bringing us Christmas each month. Thank you, Joe Hogan. You're welcome. So saturation, Greenhouse. Greenhouse has a great saturator. It's so musical. Right on Greenhouse, I will bring it up for you. Right on Greenhouse is 3 buttons that give you 3 different saturation flavors. I really try and make my plugins super easy for you so that you feel super musical and creative and you don't have to think while you're using them. And so, yeah, I use saturation constantly. I used to use Decapitator until I got Greenhouse. Now it's almost always Greenhouse. I just got that BB Tubes from Waves. I'm going to see what that's about. I used it a bit on 10 out of 10, and, it was quick and easy. I liked it. Charles asks, hey, Ken, what do I put on my master channel to get my mixes to a professional volume? Well, Charles, you're going to have to wait to see the full mix and hope that I can get far enough to treat my master. But basically, I look at the mix bus as I'm trying to accomplish things in stages. I don't usually treat my mix bus at all until all of my faders and balances are together and my song is starting to sound a bit like a real song. And then I can go, okay, my general balances right now are not going to change much. So I can start tailoring my mix bus now. So I'll usually start with well, let's find out. Here's your answer. So this is the mix bus for 10 out of 10. First thing is Black Box HG2. This is a saturator. I like this one. Eric Racy built this one for Plugin Alliance. He's dope. Very Mew, UAD, of course, nailed this one. I have the outboard version. This is a pretty damn good simulation of it. This is slowest attack, slowest release. I don't really understand why this sounds like glue, but it is the gluiest glue box you've ever heard. It tames your kicks a little bit, so you got to be a bit careful of how you want to tailor your low end. It's not right for every mix. It's hard to mix EDM with this because you want the drops to be so big and the verses to be more subdued, and this evens things out a bit. Then you go BX Digital. What I do on this, I just took a tiny little bite out of almost 4K. It was just biting at my ears a little bit, and that smoothed it out. Pultec, boosted 500, fairly narrow. Cut at 4K, fairly narrow. Boosted at 2K, fairly narrow. These are much wider bells down here. I boosted at 60 hertz. That's kind of like I think it's a shelf, because you can hear this boost. Like if you cranked 60 hertz, you would hear it up to maybe 800 at least. Like you'd hear it affecting it a little bit. It really rises a lot of your mix, and it's a good way to warm everything up and just make your entire mix feel a lot bigger. If your kicks and 808s are already hitting fine, and you turn that up and you like what they do to the rest of the mix, but not the kicks and 808s, then just turn the kick and 808 down a little bit. And then I've been using BX Master Disc a bunch lately. It's pretty darn good. Just helps me kind of lock in a general tone and a shape. The de-esser comes in real handy to kind of just put a little sheen on your whole mix. And then I've been bouncing back and forth between BX True Peak and the FabFilter Pro L2. And I usually, I don't add dither until I print, and then I just add 24-bit dither. I oversample at 16 to 32 when I print, but I usually work with it off. But oversampling does clean it up a little bit if your processor can handle it. I can probably work at 8 times overprocessing, no problem on this machine. I'm on a Mac Studio right now, and I just have the base model. I mean, it's not fast. It's plenty fast. It's plenty fast. But the one thing about the Mac Studios, just so you all know, is whatever model you buy, the internal hard drive is unupgradable. You can't replace it. You can't upgrade it. You can't do anything. So I bought this one. The internal hard drive is way too fucking small, and we are constantly clearing shit out to make room on it. But the external drives run like champs. So it's been really great. I'm going to show you this full mix later on. Here's a little taste of what you're going to see. A bunch of little altar boy. Oh, that's interesting, Ken. What the fuck did you do there? Greenhouse. I tell you, I could open up any mix from the last year randomly, and there's going to be Greenhouse all over it. Here's 2 already. We got 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a final mix. This is done, printed, final. 6 copies of Greenhouse on the final mix. This has replaced so many of my processes. And just so you can see the saturator, here's infrared, ultraviolet, which is dark and warm, gamma, which is like Hulk smash, and infrared, which is like a nice even saturation. It starts breaking up gently, real musical. I'm going to keep it on infrared so I don't change that. And here's the new BB tubes. It's okay. It does distortion just like a whole bunch of other things do distortion. So, but fire away with questions on the chat roll. If you want to see anything tonight, here's the vocal chains for you. I'll show you guys those later. All right, next up on the broadcast, I am going to go to, what am I going to do right now? I'm going to do the ATMOS Artist Listener's Guide, and then I'm going to go to Dominic Rivinius, Dom Rivinius, show co-founder, Mixing Night co-founder. Told you at the beginning, he recently vacationed in LA for a couple months and got a taste of the LA music scene, and I fell in love with it, I'm sure. And he's going to give you his adventures as a European, basically trying to make his way in the American music business, something like that. So that's coming up in a few minutes. But right now, I'm going to do, where is the ATMOS artist. So I've been noticing, as I've been Atmosing a whole bunch, that there is a serious lack of knowledge by really anybody. Nobody knows this shit yet. It's a fucking mystery. I'm going to try and debunk some of the mystery not for engineers and the studio nerds like us, but for any artists out there and any listeners. And if you're mixing Atmos, you can tell your listeners, hey, listen this way. So you can listen to Atmos on regular headphones. It works. It will still give you the Atmos experience. Atmos is primarily a headphones format right now. It does stream to speakers. We can stream to all 12 speakers here now, and we can listen to Apple mixes straight off of Apple Music. It's very cool. You need Apple AirPods or something that's spatial audio ready in order to listen to Apple's version of Atmos, which they brand Spatial Audio. Spatial Audio is Atmos with a couple little bells and whistles. They probably do a couple things with phase to make it a little wider or whatever. And the other thing Apple does is head tracking. So if you have the AirPods on and you have head tracking turned on, you can turn yourself around in your Atmos mix. And you can literally go through and hear if the drums are there, you know it. If the horn section is there, you can turn and face it as you're listening. It's the most wild experience. And the center channel moves with you. So the lead vocal is always in your head, moving wherever you are. Very cool experience. And you can turn head tracking off. I recommend trying it and then seeing what you think. You can't listen to Atmos through your phone speaker. People have tried. It sounds terrible. Atmos speakers are currently available in Apple laptops, luxury cars, sound bars, and more. They're coming. The speaker experience is being overlooked right now, but I think as time goes, it's not going to be overlooked at all. And I think potentially my friend Justin Gray up in Toronto thinks that one of the big turning points for Atmos is going to be when Spotify adopts. He thinks that they will adopt binaural, Atmos binaural, and stream Atmos binaural on Spotify. And if they do that, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to open the floodgates for everybody. So I think that's coming. By default, the new iPhones have Dolby Atmos enabled, causing the Atmos mix to be the first thing listeners and fans hear when they stream your record. To me, the Atmos mix in headphones sounds like a bigger version of the stereo. It's just a little more spaced out. It's kind of wraps around you a little bit, and it just sounds a little bit bigger and clearer and like HD of the stereo in headphones. And it does wrap around your head a little bit. It's really nice. And the speakers are just bananasville. Totally. I've never sat anybody in the speakers and played them in Atmos mix and seen anything but jaw drops. I mean, it's a beautiful experience. The Dolby Atmos mix and the stereo mix are synchronized together, and they play at the same time on Apple Music. So if you're listening to Apple Music, in your Atmos preferences, you can toggle between Atmos automatic, always on, or off. So you can toggle between Atmos and off to hear. Off is the stereo version. Atmos on or automatic is the Atmos version if one exists. So if you do Atmos versions, make sure they sound great in headphones. That's going to be the main place that people hear them. But eventually they're going to hear them on speakers too. And that's one of the big problems with mixing only in headphones. You just don't know if you're fucking something up. So, got to be careful. What's next? What artists need to know? So if you're an artist and you're like, I'm an indie artist, the fuck do I care about Atmos? It's well, there's a few reasons to. One is the Spotify thing coming, and once Spotify announces, those Spotify playlists are going to be sought after as fuck. And if you're then scrambling to get an Atmos mix, you're going to be back of the line to the people that are getting their stuff now. So it's a gamble, it's more money. So, but Dolby Atmos mixes started when your stereo mix is finished. You print mix stems off of your stereo mix, and that's what you start your Atmos with. Spatial audio comes after Dolby Atmos. Dolby Atmos is what you mix to. Apple has their proprietary encoding. We don't know what the fuck it is. It involves head tracking and movement. By turning your head, you will hear different elements in the song, like if the music was live. We have no control over this. It's proprietary. You can turn head tracking off. Oh, coffee. Oh, coffee. Artists with Dolby Atmos mixes of their songs can get more shine on Apple Music, especially right now, probably Spotify when they go to binaural. Because Apple is prioritizing stereo playlisting if you also have an Atmos version. So if Apple playlisting is at all in your future, that might really help you. You do not need to be a major artist or assigned to a record label to have or get your music mixed in Atmos. I have mixed all of the obscene Steelers stuff in Atmos, and we are super duper indie. You can stream Atmos. You can stream obscene Steelers in Atmos on Apple Music right now. And if you want your music mixed in Atmos, call me. I'm ready. I got great indie rates. It's, you know. Yeah, thatmos.com is where you will find me. So there is the Thatmos rundown, why you should care about the new format coming. I will honestly tell the engineers and mixers and producers out there, a year ago, I did a show on Atmos, and I was heavy on it. I was like, it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of work. Well, I'm here to tell you that work has not exactly materialized. So I'm working in Atmos, and I have definitely made the move, and I feel like it has more than been worth it. But if I had started now and not a year ago, I'm not so sure I would feel the same way. I think when Spotify adopts, then everybody else is going to be super interested. But while it's still only Apple Music, the mixers and creatives, I wouldn't invest heavy unless you're a super pro like me. I'm investing heavy in Atmos because I got heavy Atmos clients and need to, the real shit, like these fucking Neumann speakers. Jesus Christ. So, there you have it. So I am going to queue up Dom's European adventures to LA and let him tell you all about what he has been up to. You guys can take it away.
Hey Mixing Night family, this is Dom Rivinius from the Mixing Night team, coming to you from Hamburg, Germany with a very special end of year video today. And in today's video I want to talk about how to establish yourself in the international music industry. I want to give you some insights and experiences that I made in my own career, also in my recent trip to Los Angeles. So first of all, I know many of you are trying to build a career for themselves, whether that be as an artist or an engineer or a producer. Whatever it is within the music industry, it is a super hard game. And it is so super hard because there are no blueprints. Every single story is different, and you cannot just ask someone, how did you do it? How can I emulate it in the exact same way? Because it does not work that way. The music industry is individual stories only, and that makes it so hard. So how do you establish yourself in the international music market, especially if you're not from the US? Well, first of all, you gotta understand the whole music business is a business of people. There are already people there where you want to go. You have to connect with those people that are already there because those are really the only ones who can open the doors for you. Your task is to find ways to connect with those people in a meaningful way, be of service, make yourself helpful, make yourself valuable in whatever way you can. And that doesn't work with everyone. I met with so many people who are on a high level where I want to go, but we just didn't click. The personalities didn't match. There was no real value I could add in that situation to that person. So there was all kinds of situations where you cannot make a relationship work, but you have to keep trying. That's really what I want to share. And that's also why I went to LA for the last couple months. Let me share a couple insights with you and a couple experiences that I made that hopefully you can take for your own career. First of all, even if you go to a market like Los Angeles and you are actually in that place, you're on the playing field where everybody else is as well, that doesn't mean anything is going to happen. But what it means is you can make things happen because you're there. It's way easier that way than just trying to DM people on Instagram and making all those connections like that. It's possible and it's good, it works, but to a certain degree. And at one point, the personal connection is always stronger and always better. So whenever you can make that personal connection, it's definitely worth making the effort. The strongest aspect of my trip to LA was really the feeling that everyone around you is on a mission as well. I've been living in an Airbnb. My host was a French actress and she was incredible. She was driven like crazy. She worked day and night, and you're around those people everywhere because LA is full of people chasing their dreams. Of course, many of them are very naive about it and don't see the world for what it is, but many are really talented and driven like crazy. And if you have those people around you, you feel way more motivated as well. And you feel like you can make things happen. You're actually a stone throw away from the Hollywood Hills, from Beverly Hills, from Hollywood, from everything. It doesn't feel like something from the newspaper anymore or from a movie or something. You're actually there. That does something with your mind, and it gives you way more confidence that, yep, this is actually possible. So once you're in a great environment like that, making a name for yourself in the international music business really comes down to two things. Number one is, obviously, you have to be great at what you're doing. If you want to be a producer and produce songs that win Grammys, obviously you have to be great at what you're doing. There is no way around that. And if you don't know your craft, you're just not getting a seat at the table. So if you don't have that down yet, it's just a journey. Keep learning, keep building your skills, keep watching Mixing Night, because that's exactly what we're doing here. It is achievable. It just takes a lot of time, but it's necessary if you want to make a name for yourself. And the other thing is, number two, connections. There is no way around the music industry without making connections because it's a people's business. And the only way to get into the game is by making meaningful connections, friendships, and collaborations happen with some of those people who are already there. And that's actually the fun part. Just understand that making connections and meeting new people is the lifeblood of this industry, and there's no way around that. So that's what I did in Los Angeles as well. Once I was there, I started researching like crazy. In my case, especially in the K-pop market, because that's what I want to focus on for the next 6 months. And I sat down every day for at least an hour and listened to all the K-pop songs, went through the credits, checked out who those people were. I did a Google spreadsheet, wrote down all the names, researched their Instagram handles, researched label executives, tried to understand how the industry works, all of that stuff.
Oh.
That's the unfancy part of the music industry, but that's what people do all the time. I'm giving you the real talk here. It's not only making music, working on Taylor Swift stuff and all of that. It's a lot of grind work as well. Having great skills takes your own effort. You have to work on it without anyone else pressuring you into it. You have to be proactive. You have to be proactive in building your skills and learning how the industry works. You have to be proactive in connecting with people, making friendships, making connections. All of that stuff requires your initiative and your effort first. Don't wait for someone else to come to you. And once you start and actually put yourself out there, you will find that there are things happening that you could not possibly have imagined. Let me tell you one story that happened to me in Los Angeles real quick. So when I was there, a couple people from home, from Germany, knew that I was going to LA. So one of those people saw a newspaper article about someone else from that German region. The newspaper was featuring him because he went to LA and founded his startup. So I was like, well, let me find out who that guy is, cannot hurt. And turns out he's also the former head of global marketing at TikTok. That was his position. Of course, I did not know that, but through that research, it turned out, well, this is pretty cool. We met, we had great conversation. That is all the things that happen when you put yourself out there that you cannot possibly anticipate. Another thing is, it was so great to meet with Wednesday and Howie Weinberg at their place. Thanks for the invitation, Wednesday. Thanks for the introduction, Ken. It was fantastic. I mean, Howie is a mastering legend. Wednesday is such a lovely person. We had the best espresso in my whole life, probably. And I could actually listen to one of my own mixes in Howie's studio over his world-class speakers, and oh my god, I'm so grateful for that. And then there were two more mixing night related things actually. I mean, check out this photo. That's Bobby Thingan and me at a beautiful vegan Mexican restaurant where we met and had a beautiful night, great conversations. And this photo, if you know who that is, this is Torch. It was so great to meet with him and his girl, Justine. So thank you so much, guys, for making Mixing Night go real world. That was a fantastic experience. So why am I telling you all this? Well, it really comes down to those two things. Focus on your skills, focus on making meaningful connections. If you have that down, I guarantee you will make 2023 your year, and you will make a lot of cool things happen over the next year and beyond. And I hope you can do that. With that being said, have a fantastic holiday season. All right, peace.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you, Dom. I haven't even seen that yet, so I want to watch it. Sorry I chimed in. I thought we were back to broadcast. Let's see. I'm going to rattle off a couple questions off the chat roll right now. MBI asks, hey, Ken, what did you get for Black Friday? I bought the Seventh Heaven Professional, the one that does the Bricasti shit. I got that. Oh, also, big shout out to Jesse Ray Ernster. He's a great mix engineer. He mixed Woman for Doja Cat. He has a new line of plugins called Mixland, and he just gave me all the Mixland plugins, so I'm about to dig into those. They look really fun. And so thank you, Jesse Ray. Appreciate that. I gave him Greenhouse right back. You know it. So let's see. Dylan Angel asks, hey, Ken, if I wanted to intern at a studio in my local area with no real mixing experience but want to learn, what is the best way to go about it? Okay, here's what interns need to understand. Nobody is going to ask you to mix or to record or to perform or to make beats. You're there to do all of the stuff that nobody else wants to do so that you can be in an environment that you can learn what a professional environment is like and grow into that role. Nobody is looking at you to mix their record. So play to the strengths of what an intern needs. Put yourself in the shoes of the studio owner and ask yourself, I need an intern. Why? And as soon as you can solve that question, you can tell them why they should hire you. Then you can get in on the ground level, give them what they need while you are learning from real professionals who make real records and learning what a real environment is. And if you work hard and they're a good place to work, maybe you work your way up and you become an assistant engineer, then an engineer or a producer, writer. It's a great place to meet people and network. So good luck. AJ Hill asks, are you staying with the SSL controller setup? Or are you going back to large format again? I think I love large format, but because I'm real ATMOS heavy and it's 12 to 16 speakers plus Sony 360, which is a whole different ball of wax, it's too in the box heavy. So I'm gonna stick with the SSL controllers. I like them; they're dope. Tony Richards asks, "Hey Ken, where do you go to buy?" I don't buy plays on Spotify songs. What you do is people who do playlisting have relationships with different playlisters, and that doesn't mean that playlister is going to play that song, and that song still has to be really, really right and well targeted for that playlist, or no matter what money you spent, you're not going to get on that playlist. It's just not going to happen, and you're not going to get on the big playlists. The best strategy for a young artist is to scoop up as many small, under 1,000, under 500, 100 people playlists, 200, 300 person playlists. You can hunt those down all day long, reach out to those people your damn self. And if you get a whole bunch of those lists, you can get thousands of plays a day. And then you can get into the Spotify algorithm. And then if you start getting algorithmic spins, then you can really ramp shit up for yourself. And here's a song, speaking of which, my good friend Cliff Sims the Forrest Gump of rock and roll. Where is Cliff? Come on. Cliff Sims. Follow him, listen to him. He's great. So we just put out Might Not Be Enough. I produced it. He mostly wrote it. I just helped a little bit. But last year we put out Never Seen a White Christmas. And man, if you have a Christmas playlist this season and you want just the best Christmas song ever, Never Seen a White Christmas, please put it on your playlists. I love that song with Cliff. I produced it along with Michael Moss, the movie trailer boss. That's how me and Michael became Obscene Stealers. By the way, we worked, the first time we worked together was Never Seen a White Christmas. And we were just like, well, you're like highest level at what you do, and I'm highest level at what I do, and we really get along great, and we create well together, and we're fast. Let's fucking do this. So that's how Obscene Stealers. But anyway, I digress. Cliff is doing some playlisting, and at first they were all small playlists, and then the algorithm started picking up like, hey, people like this song. That's the thing. You can be on as many playlists as you want. If your song doesn't get reaction, you're still going nowhere. You got to start with a great song. If you don't have it, you don't have it. No amount of money is going to really help you in that regard. It'll help you a little bit. You can fake some shit, but this isn't fake. This is start with small playlists, build up a following, get real spins and real listens from real people. And the better your songs perform on that, the better you do in the algorithm. The algorithm puts you into algorithmic playlisting, which is like Spotify radio and shit like that. And that's where you can really pick up and build a career. So it is possible to do this stuff on your own. It's not free. It's not easy. It's a job, just like any other job. It's going to be good days and bad days. But man, Cliff is having some great days. This has been out for maybe a month, and this is pretty solid numbers for us, man. As independent artists that nobody knows, we're super happy with that. So, and please, I played this last mixing night, but listen, here.
Consume my every thought, 'cause you are all I want.
Whew. Awesome. All right. So that's Cliff Sims. Give him a spin. And I will try and get to more questions later. Studio Savage asks, hey Ken, do you ever miss the SSL AWS900? I still have it, but I have a committed buyer for it, and yeah, it's really breaking my heart, but it's going to a fantastic home. I couldn't be happier about that. I want to see that thing get used and go to a studio that's popping so that shit really makes a difference like it made a difference for me. I would keep it if I was staying primarily as a stereo mixer, but I'm in ATMOS land, so see ya. So anyway, I'm going to go to ear training. Here's ear training. You can download the ear training worksheet in the description of the video you are watching right now. It's right down there. You can open up the description and click right on that. You download the PDF, follow along. So this is multiple instrument and vocal identification. What you're doing is I'm going to play you a bunch of different clips from random ass songs, and they're going to have a bunch of different instrumentation in it. Some have less, some have more. You get about 15 to 20 seconds of each clip. I'm going to play the entire thing through twice, so you get 2 times through to identify each little piece. You're basically, if you hear strings, then you say, okay, that's strings. That's 1. If you can identify each individual string, say, ooh, that's a violin and a viola, then that's 2 and 3. That's 1 point for the violin and 1 point for the viola, if you guess it right. So the group, like drums, that's a point. If you guess each individual drum that's playing and you don't miss any, kick, snare, ride, tambourine, then you get a point for each of those. Think you guys get it. Without further ado, here is instrument identification ear training. There are some crazy ones coming at you. Enjoy.
1.
We're off to a great
2.
start. More
3.
curveballs.
4. 5. 6. 7.
'Grandma had a yeller hen, yeller as gold. Set her on 3 buzzard eggs, she has not 1 old crow.
8. 9.
'All right, that's your first listen through. Here is listen number 2 coming at you.
1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7.
'Grandma had a yeller hen, yeller as gold. Set her on 3 buzzard eggs, she has not 1 old crow.
8.
All right. How do you all think that you did? This is a real challenge. This is one of my favorite ones. I really love this ear training because it really challenges you. You don't know you don't know what's coming, and as soon as you hear it, you got to start analyzing like mad. And I don't expect anybody to have done particularly well on this. Let's find out. Can you guys put the ear training results up on screen? The answer key, and I will play through everything one more time so you can hear what the answers are.
1, 2, 3,
so far? That's a
4,
fun one.
5, 6,
'Love this piece. String quartet. I'm a sucker for strings. All that sound is
7,
4 strings.
Grandma had a yeller hen, yeller as gold. Set her on 3 buzzard eggs, she hatched out 1 old crow.
Yeehaw!
8, 9,
Last one. All right, how did everybody do? Post up on the chat roll or the comments if you're restreaming this, and post up your score. Let us know how you did. I'm curious. Okay, I think I would have done moderately well, maybe very well. It's possible. Anything is possible, Ken. A couple more questions. Damien Van Loo from the chat roll asks, "Hey Ken, how many compressors should I put on a lead vocal? From 0 to 3. I usually use 1 or 2 compressors and a limiter if it's like an aggressive song or if I really want a lot of control. If it's a really open dynamic song, less compression is usually better. The vocals can breathe more. So it all depends. Let's see. I'm going to go to the full mix, and then I am going to do Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery. Marcus Manderson is going to bring you the end-of-year plugin, free plugin showcase bonanza. So he's got the end-of-year wrap-up for everything, like his best free list, coming at you at the end of the broadcast. And I'm going to close the show tonight at 10 with Jamie Scott Heatley's version of Cliff Sims' song, Never Seen a White Christmas. He closed the show for us last Christmas, and it was so beautiful. We're going to do it again because he's such a great part of the Mixing Night community. Thank you, Jamie. And I think I'm going to be working with him and his band soon. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. So I'm debating right now if I should do the mix from scratch or if I should walk you through the finished mix. I feel like I should walk you through the coolest moments of the finished mix because this became... So I mixed this yesterday and I finished it pretty heavy today. Well, a little bit today. And when I announced that I was going to do a full mix for the show, I didn't realize how much production was going to happen in the mix. I'm going to bring up the full mix. And what I found is as I was mixing the song, now I don't do this with other artists when I'm just hired as a mixer, unless they want me to. This is because I am the artist. I am half of Obscene Steelers, and this is Obscene Steelers 10 out of 10. So a lot of this mix was really arrangement and finding the best way to keep the momentum moving forward, to keep the impact unrelenting, to give you enough breakups and pauses to have like dramatic moments, and to really, I want you as the listener sitting here, if you're listening to it on streaming, to go like, fuck, this should be in my favorite fucking video game while I shoot shit up. Like, or this should be on, UFC title fight night, that kind of stuff. And the way that I got there was, okay, let me just start breaking it down for you. This track right here, hits top, there's two main hits tracks. There's hits top and there's hits bottom. Here they are. Yeah, they're fucking awesome. So then I layer snare on top of that. So it's badass. But you see all of these other chops here? What I'm doing is I'm pitching the toms so that they hit and they dive. So these toms are boom, and the toms and the snare. Whenever you see them in those moments, they have little altar boy on them. And check out what this thing is doing while these toms are hitting. It's the toms that are highlighted. So boom. So it's jumping from first hit is on 0, second hit is on, this should also be linked. So these should pitch form together. Should be 0. The second hit is -3. The third hit is -5. And it steps down in automation, so it moves with it. And it takes these regular hits and it gives them this different attitude in that moment that just changes it up, because normally they're all the same exact hit. And I wanted some variation in them. I wanted some like different emotion. So if you hear these 3, boom. So listen to how this big one sounds. I'll put in the whole shabil here. So it's going to be 3 diving hits into 1 steady hit that is unchanged. And I'm getting that pow, 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 by splitting off this hits track right here. This was right here. That was in that track. And I cut that out of that track. And this was down here in the hits bottom track, and I cut that out of that track, and this was in the snare track, and I cut that out of the snare track. Each of these is a cutout from its host, and they all get pitched down with tom fills. And then the other thing I'm doing for them somewhere is filtering. I'm doing filter sweeps up on a few of them. So that I'm getting some that are pitching down and some that are filter sweeping up. So I'm always creating different emotions with one steady tom hit that was unchanging the entire time, or one steady tom and snare hit that was unchanging the entire time. So when you hear all of the variation, that's what you're hearing. The other thing that I did was, if you see these toms, I layered in these toms with the other big hits that I started pitching, and listen to the impact of these. These are fucking ginormous. They're one shots. I created those. I create big drums. So those are layered up under these, and that's what you get. So I'm building layers of sounds in different ways that did you hear the top and bottom only? So here's the bottom of the hits. This is all sub. It's all filtered out low end. It's the exact same hit as this, split off onto another track. I'll put it right next to each other. Split off onto another track. These are the two hits, so I can show you what they're each doing. This one is untreated, but it's a little bit thin. This one, I have UAD Cambridge filtering down to 143 hertz. Oh, and so, thank you guys. The Cambridge filters everything down to 143 hertz. So it just gives me this like blanket of sub down there, and then the distressor just kind of keeps that sub as a nice even tone down there that's really just filling up the low energy of the mix and giving the whole mix more low energy, so you can hear and see what this is doing. And you see, one of the things I have selected is the high pass filter and this link thing. This emphasizes the mids ever so slightly, but this makes the the detector ignore some of the low, and it will make your kick compression smoother generally. You also see I have a pretty slow attack time and a very fast release time. So that's what's happening there. Boom. Here's what it sounds like in the whole. And then here's adding the big toms.
The difference between you and I'm a god. So sending the.
So the way this song originally started was. It had this really, really long 30-second intro. It was more trailerized before, and I made it more for streaming now. But the trailerized version of it had this really long intro. I'll just play you a little. No. Yeah, I think that's it. That goes on kind of like that for like 30 seconds. It just wasn't catching me. So I lopped the first 30 seconds off the arrangement, but then this is the way the song started after that, at the end of that intro.
The difference between you and I'm a god. So send in the best that you got, but me, I'll be
So that happens here in my song, but instead of using that as an intro, I was like, okay, what's going to be the most instantly impactful intro? Because this is such a fucking ruthless beat. Once it gets to that heavy chant section, I was just like, first off, this shit is born for TikTok. The only way I use TikTok is like, you know, a bunch of songs get looped under different shit that I'm reading or seeing or whatever. And I think this section right here could be one of those amazing TikTok loops, or nobody might ever use it, but this is what I'm talking about.
It's better to fight for something.
Oh, sorry. That's not it. That's still the source. Here, so this is the way I started the song now. And the first loop of here to here when it loops back around is what I would send to TikTok. But this is going to drop straight into the same verse.
Here we go again. I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't.
One of the cool things that I did to give you kind of a more, I don't know, anticipating mood as these brams, in this first verse right here, these three that hit, I'm using Little Altar Boy on them as well. I'll keep that up on screen so you can hear what these are doing. But you'll see the pitch and the formant both move, and check it out.
Difference between you and I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't.
And you can hear each of those. They just give you a different feeling each time. You don't even realize they're changing up. They're just ear candy that keeps it moving. So, and the other thing I did in the verse was I muted this clock loop that I felt was just too much too soon. I wanted the first verse to just be driven by the voice. It's so rhythmic and hooky and just draws you into the story that I was just like, fuck, it's gotta be. So here's the clock I removed.
Difference between you and I'm a god. But
didn't need it. Wasn't doing anything for me. One of the stories of this mix is what I got rid of. Here is here's a perfect example. You see all these cuts and chops and everything. I am creating different ways that the mood is bouncing. Give this a listen. Here's the one. Listen to how I'm using this percussion in the verse, and I mute it here and here and here, and I turn it up a lot here and here.
and I'm coming for whoever say they in charge. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we could do it again. What's the bet? Where and when? I'm the best of the best, and I better be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Run it back, we could do it again. What's the bet? Where and when?
So I wanted that percussion to really be a moment when it came in, but it was running through the whole thing. And I was like, well, this isn't a moment. It's just something the ear gets really comfortable with. And so I chopped it up and I said, when the big thing goes, I'll have the percussion chopped and removed. And then went on the, then you get that big, it almost sounds like cups being played. It's really
10 out of 10. Run it back, we could do it again.
And that's just the combination of these three super compressed with Slate Monster. The Monster, listen. Hear how it's bringing up all of the ambience and the room tone in that loop sample, and it's de-emphasizing the transients, but they're still loud enough that they still drive it. If you hit this punch, it leaves you a little bit of the transient left, slow attack, but super fast release. It's very 1176-like, but it's a little bit different. So yeah, that's one of my favorites for when I really want to hear compression is the Monster. And then this Neve EQ is super nice. I don't really use this stress. I usually use UAD or the Empirical Labs Arouser. Let's see. What other fun things? Oh, I did start giving the Waves BB tubes a test run. That was one of my Black Friday purchases. $25. Where did I end up using it? Here we go. Synth 5 and 6 both have Magma BB. Let's take a look. Okay, Beauty and Beast. Beast is obviously distortion. Beauty is compression, maybe. I don't really know. But where is Synth 5 and 6? Okay, here we go. Now, one thing with this is you'll notice saturators and distortion boxes are compressors and limiters by nature. And you can hear how flatlined this is. The volume is the same from beginning to end on this sample, whereas the raw sample really swells up. Give this a listen, bypassed and unbypassed. I'll start bypassed, you'll hear the swell. And when I engage it, it's just going to flatline and distort. Same with this screamo thing. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard or some shit. You know, that'll work your sinuses if you're listening. Here's some of the other synth sounds in this. They're all pretty bizarre. And then we have, I don't know, we'll find more. If you got questions, fire away. I'm happy to show you guys anything that you want to see. Well, I'll catch a couple of these. Mark Abrams. Hey, Mark Abrams. How the hell are you, dude? Mark Abrams asks, how are the iLouds working for you for ATMOS? So, yeah, my temporary ATMOS setup is the IK Multimedia iLouds. They're pretty fucking good. The thing that I don't like about them at all is they're underpowered for left-right stereo, and they don't have a sub. So, I basically use my Atoms for LR stereo. Now I'm using the Neumann KH310s for LR stereo with subs underneath them, and then the rest are the surround or Atmos, and we just dial them in really carefully with room correction and make sure everything is really, you know, super translates super accurately between headphones and speakers. And it's tough. We've spent a ton of time making sure that we can dial this room in, but you can dial them in pretty well. Dom says, is this Dom Rivinius or a different Dom? Dom says, hey Ken, you are just a badass producer, man. Well, thank you. If this is Dom Rivinius, producing with you has been pretty enjoyable. We just worked with David Banner, and I'm not sure when that's going to come out, but man, we did a fucking banger with David Banner. It is hot. He is a down south legend. I love that guy. Let's see. Billy Williams asks, how would you recommend a producer songwriter get into the industry working with good artists? I'm hoping that Dom Rivinius broke that down in great detail because he has a much better perspective on that than I do. I've been in the industry for 30 years professionally now, working for major label artists. I don't know how to break in, but I've seen enough people do it that I have some insights, and Dominic has some great insights because he's breaking in now and having all sorts of success. Let's see. Okay, what other absolute gems can I show you on this song? Yeah, you can see, you know, I took arrangement further and I'm chopping out some of the screams and some of those synths and stuff here. So I'm always trying to get this constant bounce of, you know, emotion going on. And underneath the vocal, I'm trying to get the music and the spirit of the music to match the spirit of the song. Whatever the song needs, that's what I'm trying to give it. So I just let the song tell me, like, you know, oh shit, man, these toms need to be bigger right here. And that's kind of how I created this chant breakdown bridge, which became the intro as well. That section that is now also the intro happens later on in the song, and that was the first time that I split these off and pitched them and then put my other toms underneath them. And this was originally, the original arrangement only had this section go once. And so I doubled this section and chopped everything after it and moved it back. And I doubled this section, and I thought just the power, let me play it for you so you know where you're at. So that only went one time through like that, and then I had to copy and paste and double. I just copied. So if you're in Pro Tools, you can open right here, and there's Groups All. and momentarily, everything top to bottom, your master fader down, every single thing is grouped together. And you can, I'm just going to undo this. You can cut, paste, move this over, etc. Recreate, and you know, you have grid lines, and you can cut on grid in grid mode. So you can, there we go. So basically what I do is I just chop up the song until I have the arrangement that I feel like, okay, it's fucking straight out the gate the way it needs to feel. I'm going to grab their attention instantly. Do I need to hit them with the vocal first, or is there something else that's going to hold their attention? And this fucking chant was definitely going to hold their attention. And then the verse is super captivating. It was less impactful to me when I was just starting the song only on the verse. I was originally, after I decided to get rid of the intro, this is how I was starting the song right here.
Difference between you and I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive.
So, and I thought that was a pretty good start. It gets right to it. It doesn't mince words. And that would have been a powerful start. But after I created that drop bridge, I was like, fuck, this is, I think this has a legit shot at TikTok. And, you know, that's always, I don't produce for TikTok, but when I hear something in my production that all of a sudden I go, oh, I know what to do with this. Oh, shit. Then you go like, okay, is this worth attempting to capitalize on? And yeah, I think this is the perfect arrangement for the song regardless. But being that this is the very first thing that you hear, I'm hoping that it finds its way over to there and people use it under their stories and shit like that, and IG reels and stuff. So I'm always thinking of, you know, because this is a career. I mean, this is how I eat and how I pay my staff and how I, you know, pay the bills around here, by making records or mixing records or writing records or doing something with records. But it's a everyday kind of a thing, and it never seems to relent. Okay, so that's group all. What other absolute gems? There's Michael did a lot of the original. I think they probably have put the credits up on screen so you guys can see who everybody was creating on this. We have a fierce fucking team of creators on this. But Michael and one of his creative partners did the original instrumental that I just tore apart and turned into something different. That's fucking, we work so well together. It's really awesome. And you know, all that big cinematic drama and shit, that's all Michael Moss. Every last fucking bit of it. All right, what else is there to show? Let me see. Billy Williams asks, hey Ken, can we see the effect chain on the haze and other chant vocal? Yeah, I'm using Valhalla vintage verb as my verb. Here's that. Come on. Boom, boom, boom.
Hey, 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 yeah, here we go again. Hey, hey, hey.
As recorded. So here is as recorded.
Hey, 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 yeah, here we go again. Hey,
Here is as recorded.
hey, 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 hey.
So I didn't feel like I needed to do anything. They were recorded and blended really well when they came to me. Great job, James Wood. And I added this vintage verb onto those haze.
Hey, 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 hey.
That's the stock setting when it comes up. Sometimes that shit just works. So these two together sound like this.
Hey, hey, hey.
So you can hear he pitched before when he was doing the blends for me. He foremented down one or two, I don't know how many of the haze. So you can hear the foremented down haze blended up underneath, and then you can hear the impact haze spread out left and right. And you know, he gives us enough tracks to be powerful and to work with, and I just gotta mix them. Ben Kruger asks, hey Ken, what are you doing about drum reverb? Would you be shocked to learn that I am using no drum reverb? This is all already on the sounds themselves. In fact, the only thing that I put more reverb on that didn't already come in the stem was that chant lead vocal and one of the just the chant lead vocals. That's it. And the Here We Go Agains. And everything else is the if it has an effect, it was the printed on it originally or came out of the box sounding that way. And I mean, that's the thing. That's one of the reasons that I harp on sprint mixing all the time, is especially nowadays when most things come out of a box sounding pretty good and you can get a decent quality vocal microphone for a few $100. I mean, your ability to record yourself and the quality of the sounds coming out of the boxes you're using to create, that means mixing is primarily about balance, striking balances, finding how everything works best together to create the emotion in the song and the music that you want to translate to your listeners. And you gotta super remember that you're mixing a song for an artist. In this situation, the artist is me, but usually I'm mixing for other artists. And you as a mixer, you get to mix somebody else's song tomorrow and the next day. But the mix that they got to live with for maybe their whole career. And they got to stand by that. So they need to love it. So whatever you need to do to make them love your work, don't be precious about it. Be precious about what your clients want. If you want to be a pro, make sure that, as much as you can, it's always tough in this business. Let your ego go. And, if they want something, just try and give it to them. Don't hassle with them. Don't bitch, Having said that, my other rule is the 10% of clients that cause you the most problems are probably the ones that you want to cut loose. If anybody's seen the meme going around, there's like one, mixer does $5,000 mix for hit artist on major record label and gets no revisions and a thank you. And same mixer does independent mix for indie artist, unheard of band, and you're 10 revisions deep, and they paid you $500, and everybody wants something different, and it happens. Let's see. I think Dom Rivinius, hey Dom, asks, is the level of editing detail in this something that I would do for other clients, or is this something I'm only doing because I'm the artist? Like as a mixer, not as a producer. As a producer, I do what the fuck is right for the song. That's my job. And what's right for the artist, and if that, that's my job too. But as a mixer, I wouldn't do all of this. If they said, hey, Ken, you've done 15 mixes for us, go fucking nuts. If you hear something, just fucking go for it. We trust you. Then, yeah, I might do all that. In fact, I have a couple clients who hire me specifically because they know that they don't know the first fucking thing about arranging a song. They have great songwriting ideas and they can put their productions together moderately well, but they need somebody else to come in and just listen and evaluate the whole thing and go, here's the best version of your song. And that's basically what I did here. I listened as the song developed. I went back and forth with the rapper Fash and James Wood to lock in the spirit of the lyric and the delivery of the lyric. And once we had that fucking perfect, then I went back and I just rebuilt the track in the spirit of how I wanted the listener to hear it. And nowadays, 90% of that is balance with a little bit of, studio tricks. Like I'd say the studio tricks in this are definitely splitting that big giant hit into two layers and giving it a beef layer separate from a top layer. not trying to get one layer to do the entire load of the work. Because then you can just take this bottom layer, which is filtered, it's only really sub, and you can adjust it with the fader. So you're not trying to dial in the amount of EQ to get it right. You're adjusting the amount of low end that you have with a fader, and it just tends to be easier that way. You know, I would do things like that in a mix any day of the week. If I had hits, then they weren't hitting, and I was like, this shit needs to hit. I would be splitting that shit off and filtering it down, and for me, on the sonics of a mix, sonics is whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to deliver the artist's vision. If I have my own vision to bring to the table, which I usually do, then, you know, they'll get my vision. They'll get my best interpretation of what they hopefully want. And you also got to understand, when you're working with a mixer, that the first mixes might not be at all what you were anticipating. Like, you give the same mix, same song to be mixed by 100 different top mixers, and you are going to get 100 different sounding mixes. And half of them you're probably not going to like very much. And that doesn't make them bad mixes. That makes them the wrong representation of your song, the way that you want to hear it. So you got to figure out, like, okay, the song is hitting me like this. How do I make it hit me like this? And a lot of times that's kind of baked into the rough mix. You can feel in the rough mix how the song is supposed to feel. Like, you know, it's an interpretation. I listen to the rough mix and I go like, oh, okay, the vocal is bone dry and the snare is loud as hell. Okay, I gotta make notes of that, you know. Or like, whoa, this is super bass heavy. You know, the 808 is definitely driving the emotion of this song. I gotta make sure that that's really pumping in my mix, you know. There's usually something about the rough mix that indicates, like, this is who the artist is and what they want and the direction that they want to go. For what that's worth. Bum, bum, bum. The mixing night Christmas tree. Oh, I don't know how well you can see this. I hope you can see it really well. Let me see if I can put a little bit of, come on, there we go. We have greenhouse ornaments. Are they the cutest things you have ever seen in your entire life? We have sundial, we have Len, we have the flowers, all of the flowers on there. Oh, we love our Christmas tree. It's got a big blue Santa hat on the top. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everybody. And thank you for tuning in and sticking around for mixing night. Let's see. Man, I'm in the Christmas spirit this year, I gotta say. I'm trying to be in it. I'm liking it. No Scrooge. What else do we got? Oh, the other thing. So this yell thing. This was one of the things that I took for, like, oh shit, this is an emotion builder. So this yell right here only happened later in the song. Let me play that for you. But I heard that and I was just like, what the fuck? That needs to, so at the end of the big intro chant section right here, that leads us right into verse 1 now. So here, I'll play that for you.
Yeah, here we go again. Between you and I'm a god, so send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost.
Yeah, this shit's got some crazy fucking energy to it. Let's see. If you got any other questions, fire away on the chat roll. I will answer them as I go. Actually, I got to get to Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery, pretty darn soon. Let me, I think I showed the mix bus earlier. I'll go over the main vocal chain. These were delivered fairly mixed to me already, so it was not as much about mixing them as it was about tailoring them to make them fit into the final shape of the song. So James Wood recorded them and mixed them and produced the vocals for Fash, and then they sent me stems, and I just worked off of these stems, but I still wanted to shape them up a little bit. So here's the main one.
The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me.
So one thing you notice, one, I'm not hitting it very hard. Two, I'm always hitting it. So the needle is always moving. Anytime any words are coming out of his mouth, there's at least a little bit of compression happening. If he really exaggerates, then the compression will catch more of it, and it'll keep him nice and leveled out. So that's step one. Step two is distressor. This is more of a limiter. It's not quite a limiter, but it acts more like it here. So I got a high pass filter engaged. There's nothing down there in a vocal. You can high pass filter it. And the high pass detector is engaged as well. I've got a pretty medium slow attack, not too slow, and a super fast release. So I'm letting just the leading edge of the transient of his vocal attack through, and then it clamps down. So it gives us this real nice percussive feeling to it without doing too much. Let's see what that's doing.
The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the...
So let me show you the difference between... all I'm going to do is change the attack time. I'm going to go from super fast to slowest. And you'll hear as I go to super fast, it's going to compress like crazy. And as I go to slowest, it's barely going to compress at all. So, and I'll start it where it ends.
The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards. No one can stop me, I'm taking up arms and I'm coming for whoever say they in charge.
So see, by the end there, it's working so slowly that it's like, by the time you're past me, you're already back down. I'm not even going to try and attack you. Whereas here, they let the leading edge through, and then they're like, hey, now, come on back. But as soon as they're back under that threshold, we're letting them right go again. So we're just keeping a real, like, leveled out, punchy vocal to it. Then I'm hitting it with a Pultec Pro Legacy from UAD. This is my favorite EQ ever made. 10K, open it up here. Let me show you without.
The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards.
So I'll show you each of these bands one at a time. 700 boost, 2K boost, cutting 100, boosting 10K wide. Kind of wide, not even all that wide. Interesting, Ken. Huh. Okay.
The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards. No one can stop me, I'm taking up arms and I'm coming for whoever say they in charge. The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards. No one can stop me, I'm taking up arms and I'm coming for whoever say they in charge. The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be...
So I'm not necessarily... Those aren't like moves that I always do. I'm listening to this and I'm asking myself, okay, he's close. How do I get him really polished? Do I want him like really bright and open? Do I want him really sub-heavy? Like, and I just start asking myself, what should this sound like? What should this sound like? And as I'm listening, I'm just, what should this sound like? And then I just start working. And I don't think. I just listen. And I just work until I listen and I go, that's it. Got it. And then I move on to the next thing, which in this case is a de-esser. One de-esser. No, I got two de-essers on this. I thought I usually use two. So here's the first de-esser. It's just waves or de-esser.
The difference between you and I, I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards. No one can stop me, I'm taking up arms and I'm coming for whoever say they in charge.
So, usually I'm biting about 5 dB out of the most aggressive stuff. There's a couple things that hit a little harder. You don't hear it at all. It just softens up the vocal. So especially in headphones, that it's just not biting your ears so much. If you're listening to a vocal and the high frequencies are just smacking your eardrums, it's probably you need a little bit of de-essing. And de-essing is, if you don't know what a de-esser is, it literally removes S's, T's, that kind of stuff. So it removes high frequency or mid frequency. The other band that I went after is a mid frequency. This is centered at 4.3K, right in the middle of the mid range. Look at what this is doing. So I felt like he was really aggressive, but it was a little bit too bitey in my ear, right in at 4K. And I just wanted him to bite a little bit less when he was really digging in just at that frequency. And instead of dialing it out permanently with an EQ and losing all of that energy all of the time, I just dipped that energy a little bit when I felt like it was a little bit too aggressive. So listen.
The difference between you and I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick you apart. They still trying to catch me, it ain't in the cards. No one can stop me. I'm taking up arms and I'm coming for whoever say they in charge.
So I'm de-essing the high frequencies and the mid frequencies separately, so that I can just take smaller bites out of each one, accomplish what I'm trying to do without using a sledgehammer on it, and be more musical about it. What I'm doing after the first de-esser is tilt. I gotta try Jesse Ray Ernster's tilt, the Mixland tilt. So tilt is, here, let me show you what tilt does. It centers at 1K.
The difference between you and I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when...
So this represents high frequency up here and low frequency down here. And you see it just tilts your curve to rebalance all frequencies. So I find sometimes, especially like when I get a vocal and I'm like, okay, sounds really good. How does it sound in the... Okay, it needs to be a touch more present in the mix. Okay, the frequencies are all balanced. I have the EQ right, but it doesn't pop in the mix right. And sometimes just a little bit of tilt will give it just that little bit of shine that you need. Or sometimes I use tilt as the very first thing that I do. If it's too bass heavy and noticeably dark, then I'll tilt it a bit before I compress it so that the compressor works more evenly and efficiently than the other de-esser. And then Slate Fresh Air on this. I use a bunch of different things to open up the high end. The Plugin Alliance Noveltech stuff is really good. Fresh Air is really good. The Cush, Clariphonic, both the outboard and the plugin is great. A bunch of stuff that I use for that. Here's I'm just barely touching it with this. It just gives a little bit of crispness to it.
The difference between you and I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But me, I'll be gone by the time you arrive. Be careful when choosing the side. I'm a ghost in the dark when I pick...
You got to be really careful with plugins like this, especially Fresh Air, because you can do way too much really fast. And initially, in the moment, it might sound really good because it's just hyped in a way that you haven't heard it yet, but it's probably not. So...
The difference between you and I'm a god. So send in the best that you got. But...
Okay, so I'm going to wrap up the show with Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery. Let me see if I can answer any more questions. Oh, Dom Rivinius asks, hey Ken, is this just the experience that you know the vocals should... Is this just my own experience of mixing that I know the vocals should sound like I want them to because it also sounded good without the 700 hertz boost, for example? Yes, I basically listen to them in the song and I ask myself, where do I want the vocal energies to... First off, where is the clarity in the vocal? And where can I bring out a little bit more clarity of enunciation while not overhyping a certain frequency? And I think that was 700 did that, and 2K helped a little bit with that as well. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go to Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery, and then we are going to close the show with Jamie Scott Heatlie, his cover of the Cliff Sims classic Christmas song, Never Seen a White Christmas. So here is Marcus Manderson with your...
What's good, Mixing Night family? This is Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery, back with another Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment. In this Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment, we're going to talk all about the best free plugins that should be on your radar from 2022 as you go into 2023. Let's get into it. What I have put together here is a list of over 50 links that you can go to, which will access thousands and thousands of plugins that you can use for your audio mixing, audio production stuff. This link I will include in the Discord. I'm not going to go through all of these in this video because it would be a lot to go through. Start with Audio Damage because I remember using their plugins for iOS devices. What we have here is Rough Rider 3, which is the third version of the Rough Rider compressor plugin. But what you also have access to is the legacy version. So it's the version 2.4 versions of all of their plugins here. So it might not work on your system, but it might. So definitely check these out. You have a lot of effects and things here. Baby Audio. Again, use this on iOS also, but you have some free things here. You have Magic Dice, you have Baby Comeback, and Magic Switch. These are, I think, smaller versions or free versions of some of their higher end plugins. So definitely check those out. All right, let's see if we can skip one here. We're going to go to Cymatics. I've talked about Cymatics before. On this page here, you have some free sample packs. You also have the free plugin. So you have the Reverb plugin. You have Diablo Light, which is really great on drums and 808. So definitely check that out. And also check out their sample packs there. Cymatics. You have Decent Samples. Now, what Decent Samples have done is they've created a new UI that you can use in this Decent Sampler format. So it's sort of like an alternative to Contact. Definitely check out the site. Look for the free stuff on their site. They have a lot of free plugins, and it tells you the format that you would need for those plugins. All right, we're going to skip a couple here. I will jump to Epic Online Orchestra. We talked about this, I believe, a while ago. I used this to create the theme for the Mixing Night Man of Mystery moment. So what you can do is you can go in here, you can choose chords to play, you can choose a certain mode that you want to play, and it'll come up with some chords or a progression for you to use. And I believe you can export the MIDI and things like that, but definitely check out the Epic Online Orchestra. All right, we're going to skip. We're not going to skip yet. We have Heaviosity Foundations because we love our friends over at Heaviosity. This is a series of free plugins that they offer. Currently, they have 4. They're releasing a new free one almost every 2 or 3 months or so there that are taken from some of their higher end libraries. But right now you have these 4, which are great. We did a previous segment where we actually created a piece of musical ideas, a quick cue using only Heaviosity Foundation instruments. So definitely check out Heaviosity Foundations. All right, we'll jump to Native Instruments because we have some great friends over there also. Shout out to Native Instruments for all the stuff they have. They have some free versions of, I believe, Complete, Control. They have that. They have Contact 7 Player. You have a community drive from 2021. There's also another community. So a lot of free stuff in here. Complete start packages, some free, I believe this is a compressor here. So there's some free things you can get in there just to get used to the Native Instrument format. A lot of us use Native Instruments in our productions and things like that. Next, we'll jump over to orchestral tools. There are 2 things here. In particular, we have Sign Factory and Layers. I'll just choose one. Sign Factory, I believe, is also another platform where they release a new free plugin every few months to the Sign Factory content player thing here. So you get all these sounds. Yeah, right now they have percussion strings, so they have all these, and they're releasing new ones all the time. So definitely be on the lookout for Sign Factory, and also check out Layers. We're going to jump to Signal Free, which is from Output. Again, Output has created Arcade. They have Exhale. They have a lot of great plugins. This is a free version of their plugin called Signal, where you have 4 sound effects and 2 gigabytes of content, and then you can mix and match those as needed. It's a really, really great entry level. And again, you see the limitations there, so it does help to have Contact Full. Otherwise, you're limited to 15 minutes in Contact Player. So definitely look at that stuff. We're going to jump to Project Sam, which has a free orchestra. They just updated the free orchestra this year. Definitely check that out. There's a video there showing you how you can jump in and dive in to get some of those sounds. And the free orchestra is actually taken from some of their higher end packs, so really great for that orchestral thing. And again, you know, I've been diving in on the orchestral stuff lately, so a lot of this might be orchestral oriented, but it is what it is, including the Red Room Audio Palette Primary Colors. Again, another free orchestra that you can use, so definitely check out Red Room Audio Palette Primary Colors. I will jump to Skybox Audio. I believe I've mentioned this in the past. Drop Designer from Skybox Audio is a way where you can bring in a sample, like a one-shot sample, and you can spread it out across your keyboard, and you can throw some effects on there. I've used this on a couple of tracks. It's really great. We're going to jump down to Sonoscore, which has some great freebies, another orchestral series of freebies, including 2 that you get when you join their newsletter. And these are some great, I call this like the Hans Zimmer secret. I might have to do a whole other segment on that, but check out the 2 freebies you get when you join the newsletter. And then you also have Pipe Organ, which was just released a few weeks ago. You have Phrases Compilation and Ethnic Flute Phrases, which was also released this year, I believe. So definitely check out the Sonoscore, I might mess up the name. Spitfire Audio, we've talked about them ad nauseum, but there are 3 sort of free options you can choose. Actually, get them all. You have BBC SO Discover, which is sort of the free version of their higher end BBC BBC Orchestra. You have the free labs, which they're releasing a free instrument every month. I also have a Logic template that I give away for free that has all the labs instruments in there. So hit me up if you want that. And then we also have Piano Book, which does have over 1,000 free instruments. So you can check all those out. And again, unlimited number of sounds and resources there. We'll jump to Splash Sound, which also has some great percussion libraries. They have percussion elements, kids percussion, music box. There's also some retro wave stuff. So check out some of their free stuff. I really like the percussion sounds. Valhalla, we talked about a little bit last week or last month. Supermassive that we talked about in the free reverbs, but they actually updated the UI for that. So we did mention that again this month. The UI is updated, but you also have Freak Echo. So go to this page, look up the free, look for free there. I believe these are the 3 freebies, but definitely check that out. And they are updating their UI. So they're updating stuff. You can download a free synth called Vital. There are presets that you can purchase from here, but there are also free presets online. So you can go online and just look for free presets. I believe we did a segment on Vital a couple of months ago. So definitely check out Vital. And last but not least, you do have a meter here. I won't include that one, but we will go to Experimenta because they are also doing what some of the other companies are doing, such as Heaviosity and Spitfire Audio, where they're adding free instruments. In this case, they are adding free instruments each month into their Minima 2 series. Right now, it looks like they already have strings, percussion, prepared pianos, flutes, vintage synths, basses, and much more. So there are more coming every month from our friends over at Experimenta Project. This is just a little bit of what's included in this document here. I have a nice little entry note there. You can read that. But then go dive in, click on these links. Some links may be affiliate links, so definitely check that out. Shout out to the whole Mixing Night community. Shout out to Ken, Dom, Lori, Mazzy, the whole team. It's been a great year. Hopefully you've learned about one free plugin that could be helpful for you in your musical journey. And of course, there will be more on the way next year. Happy holidays. Be safe and be well, everyone. All right. Peace.
Thank you, Marcus Manderson, Mixing Night Man of Mystery. You have been such an amazing asset to this show and this community. We appreciate you so much. Merry Christmas, Marcus. To close the show this year, in a minute, I'm going to play Jamie Scott Heatley's cover of Never Seen a White Christmas by Cliff Sims. If you guys can show the Cliff Sims Christmas cover, if you want to add a great Christmas song to your playlist, add Never Seen a White Christmas. It is beautiful. We did me and Michael Moss produced it. We did a full live orchestra, 53-piece live orchestra. So it really feels like one of those throwback Christmas songs, and we just had a blast doing it, and Cliff sang the shit out of it. And Jamie Scott Heatley blessed us last year with a cover version of it, which we closed last year's Christmas show with. It is such a beautiful version. I hope you guys appreciate it. I'm going to say my Merry Christmas and good night and happy mixing night to you. Thank you for joining us this year. It has been such a phenomenal experience doing this show, and we will be back in 2023 with more dog treats and more gems for you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and here's Jamie Scott Heatley.
So, Merry Christmas to Ken, Laurie, Dom, Marcus, and the rest of the mixing team. Have a good one. This is for you guys. I wish it was 20 below. We could make angels in the snow on Christmas. I keep wishing we could build Frosty, that he wouldn't stay. Another snowman melts away to his grave on Christmas. Winter wishing, and I'm dreaming from my TV screen. I've never seen a white Christmas. I always feel like I'm missing out. I've never seen Santa's sleigh, only got sunny days where it's evergreen. I've never seen a white Christmas. It's at the top of my wish list. Always been far away from them cold winter days, and I wish it were free. sandals and boots in the rain. I'd rather a scarf and ice skates on Christmas. Winter wishing, sipping hot cocoa with fires ablaze. Would Santa please turn all my B's into A's on Christmas? Am I on your good list? And I'm dreaming from my TV screen. I've never seen a white Christmas. I always feel like I'm missing out. Never seen Santa's sleigh, only got sunny days where it's evergreen. I've never seen a white Christmas. It's at the top of my wish list. Always been far away from them cold winter days. I wish it were free. He's got mama and papa, my sisters and brothers. No snow in the sky, but we've all got each other. The best gift of Christmas is family. And it's all I've ever known. And it's so much better than snow. I've never seen a white Christmas. I always feel like I'm missing out. I've never seen Santa's sleigh, only got sunny days where it's evergreen. I've never seen a white Christmas. It's at the top of my wish list. Always been far away from them cold winter days. I wish it were free. Merry Christmas.